Not only is the new Silverbolt really awesome, but I've actually been seeing it really well stocked on toy shelves. Hello there, Transformers fans, and welcome back to another cool toy review. Today, we are reviewing the new Age of the Primes Commander Class Silverbolt. I've seen multiple examples of toy shelves where there's been 2 to 3 of these sitting on shelf, and that is very nice for the collectors who are out hunting for them. So, get out there. Silverbolts are on shelves, you guys. Anyway, here he is in the packaging. No window on this package. You've got artwork of Silverbolt in his robot and jet mode here. And he's a supersonic jet, which is really cool. Transformers Age of the Primes there at the bottom. You get to see the 13 primes there at the top. On the back, we've got some images of Silverbolt in his supersonic jet mode, his supersonic jet mode, his robot mode, Superion mode, and on this side, you get some artwork of Superion. On this side, you get more artwork of the primes that we showed up on top. And that's pretty much it for the packaging. Here is Silverbolt out of the packaging, and he looks absolutely awesome. This is such a good G1 looking Silverbolt. That face sculpt looks awesome. I love the bright silver paint on that, by the way. The dullish gray off-white color is pretty good. The yellows are nice. The reds are really bright. Nice pronounced Autobot symbol right there on his chest. He's got his blaster, which does connect to his Superion blaster over here on the Super Jet mode chunk, which we'll get into when we put him in jet mode and then Super Jet mode. But this right here works like Motormaster's trailer did for the Legacy Menasor build. But it's not the same frame, obviously, and it isn't exactly interchangeable with the Stunticons. More on that later. The new Silverbolt is very articulated in his robot mode. Head is on a ball joint, shoulders go all the way around, you got a swivel at the bicep, single jointed elbows, nothing at the wrists side to side at least. You can go forward and down due to transformation. Nothing at the waist. Hips go in and out. These thigh plates do articulate out so you can get some good forward movement on those legs. Upper thigh. Double jointed knees. You've got a kind of a tougher joint right here and then a little bit of a smoother joint right here. Ankles go side to side and forward and back, but it's a little bit tougher, and that's mostly due to transformation as well. And then you can articulate the heel inward if you like, but again, that's due to transformation. And for comparison, here is Silverbolt next to his 2 aerial bots, Air Raid and Slingshot, so you can see the 3 of them side by side. And Fireflight and Skydive should be out sometime by the end of the year, probably mid to late September, early October. And here's Silverbolt next to Motormaster, so you can see these 2 nemeses side by side. See how they compare, which I think they look especially great side by side. They complement each other very, very well. And here is Silverbolt next to Silverbolt. We have the Combiner Wars Silverbolt, so we can see the 2 different Silverbolts and Superions, at least in principle, side by side for this review as well. Conversion from bot to jet mode is pretty simple, and basically we're going to be mostly converting him into his chest mode, but with all the wings and stuff flared out. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by taking his blaster off, set that to the side, fold in those hands right there, open up this chest compartment, fold his robot mode head down, bring up his Superion mode head. Like I said, it's going to be kind of like we're putting him in torso mode. Next, we're going to fold in those forearms into the elbows the back way, and then push those shoulder sections and lock and peg them into place. Go ahead and put his robot mode chest back into place with his head tucked in, tab that into place, and there is his chest compartment all done. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to come down to the feet, We're going to fold in those feet, fold up those bits, bring this out, bring that up like so, and then with that double knee joint, we're going to peg that section together. Like I said, it's like we're making them into torso mode, just not completely all the way. Next, we're going to come out, unfold those wingtips on the sides there, bring that down and tab those into place, untab his front of his plane mode from his tail section, and line that up and tab that into place. And then, of course, tab that Superion head right there into the bottom. Bring that out, tab that into place on the back, and there is Superion in his supersonic jet mode. And his supersonic jet mode looks really, really good. It's a nice size, and I think it looks very G1 accurate. A little bit more than the Combiner Wars one, at least in my opinion. And you can take his blaster here, and it will peg right here under the front of the plane section. I guess under the nose too, but it plugs in a little bit further back than that, as you can see. And for his Super Jet mode, just grab his bigger jet piece, pull out these little clamp or clip sections, untab the bottom sections of the wings, and then that's just going to fit right over the thighs. Tab those wings back down over it, split this tail, because now we have this tail, and there is Superion in his Super Jet mode, which is so freaking big. Look how big this thing is. This is so wild. I wasn't expecting this even a little bit when Hasbro initially started hinting at doing a Superion and a new set of aerial bots. I did not think that this was going to be the direction. I know it worked for Motormaster and Menasor, and to be honest, it works for this too. But my friend Brandon, shout out to you, Brandon, you were totally right, that suggested that, well, maybe they'll just make a larger jet section that Silverbolt combines with, and we'll just have a really big jet. And I'm like, dude, that wouldn't be in scale. That would be silly. Well, they did it, and honestly, it works really well for both modes, I think. His regular jet mode, I don't believe is compromised by it, aside from, you know, the robot mode feet hanging out on the side. And when it comes together and you have this bigger supersonic jet that Silverbolt is, I just love it. I just find myself like smiling at it because it's just very cool. So way to go, Hasbro, on being creative and accomplishing this combiner and making it look good in basically all of its modes. And for comparison, here he is next to the Combiner Wars Silverbolt. So you can see the two of them side by side. And I didn't realize how very different from his G1 design the Combiner Wars one was until this one got announced and I started looking at them a little bit more closely, because when this one came out, man, it was really awesome, and it still is. It's an awesome design for Silverbolt and Superion overall, but if you're judging it by the metric of G1 accuracy, this one is definitely the better Silverbolt between the two of them. And I also feel like this one does a better job of hiding his robot mode parts in jet mode than this one does. They both are basically a Silverbolt folded up on the, you know, back section of the jet mode, but the only real visible robot mode parts on the new one is the Superion head and the robot mode feet here on the side, and then I guess the thighs kind of. But other than that, that's the only real visible tell that this is a Transformer. For this one, there's so much. there's so much telling that this is a Transformer. And because why not, here is Combiner Wars Silverbolt next to the new Silverbolt in his Super Jet mode. So you can see how much larger the new jet mode is by comparison. And once again, it's absolutely massive. And since Silverbolt's in his Super Jet mode, here is Motor Master in his full truck mode. So you can see them side by side. And yes, Silverbolt is definitely bigger in his Super Jet mode compared to Motor Master's truck mode from Legacy. And here is regular jet mode, Silverbolt next to Motor Master in his full truck mode. And here they are side by side, just bot to bot or cab to jet. So you can see them with just their regular bot bodies. And here is Silverbolt with his other two aerial bots side by side. And we just need two more. Like I said, Fireflight and Skydive are coming soon. So we will soon have the full aerial bot fleet, or at least the Superion combiner team of the aerial bot fleet together. And I really cannot wait to form this Superion set fully. It looks really good. Speaking of, let's go ahead and convert him into Superion mode. Going into Superion mode from Silverbolt's Super Jet mode, what we're going to do is we're going to open and untab these wings again, pull them apart, set Silverbolt right here, untab this if it hasn't already come untabbed, fold out the barrel, and we're just going to set that aside for the moment. Next, we're going to push those into place, untab this section right here, untab this section right here, pull this off. We're going to bring these hips down like so, and leave that open and set it to the side. Next, we're going to split apart the arms and leg sections, fold that in, unfold that, flip out that knee joint right there, flip out that foot, and there's one leg done. Separate that arm and leg, flip that out, flip that up, fold that out. There's two legs done. For the arms, we're going to open up that fist, fold in that fin, and then we're going to leave this arm alone. And then we're going to do the same thing over here, fold that out, fold that down. Now if we had Fireflight, we would go ahead and just plug him on here and then separate these sections, thus splitting him apart into his segmented jet sections and to become the rest of the arm of Superion. So as you can see, this follows that similar exoskeletal structural frame that the Legacy, Stunticons, and Menasor used. We even have a similar arm connection at the armpit right there, which I really like. However, as similar as the arms and legs are, especially having the closing doors for the legs there with the jets on the back of the legs as they were in the animation, these are not compatible with the Stunticons from Legacy. So we cannot just plug on Breakdown and Wild Rider onto Silverbolt's legs here and make a Scramble City style combiner. Now what we can do is we can take the mushroom pegged legs that connect onto the Menasor itself and swap those with Silverbolt here, but that's about as much as we can do. We can't swap out the bots themselves onto the frame themselves. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take that and put those legs on Superion there. Set that to the side. Grab our Silverbolt. We're going to open the wings and fold in those tips like we're going to put them in robot mode. untab this back section. Again, like we're going to be putting him in robot mode, go ahead and fold that up. Untab this section, separate the Superion head from that and give it a twist. We're going to take this off. We're going to collapse that nose section down, and that's going to tab into here. Bring that back, and there is Silverbolt in his torso mode. Grab our frame. We're going to take those two tabs. Those are going to peg in right there. We're going to take this peg. That's going to peg in right there. Go ahead and get that one into place. Peg it in, and then ease it down onto the two. And once that's secure, just plug in the rest of the chest. And there is Silverbolt in his Superion frame mode, mostly. Next, we're going to take this arm right here. We're going to take Slingshot, and we're going to plug him onto this arm. Make sure you line up all of the pegs properly so that he separates correctly, and hopefully this will do it on the first try. There we go. And then just extend, and then extend this other one, tab that into place, and just like with the Stunticons, here we have an arm for Superion. So just take this bit right here, that's just going to slide down over the robot mode feet, and there is Superion's right arm. Take that, just slide that one down. There's Superion's left arm, and all that's left to do is to grab his blaster, take the tip, plug that right onto there. Now, you can flip out this peg and he can hold it in his hand, or you can plug it onto his forearm. There's a square peg on his forearm. There's a square peg hole right there on his blaster, and it lines up perfectly with where his forearm arm blaster cannon should be, and Superion looks really awesome in his combiner mode. He is very articulated in this mode. Head is on a ball joint, fully articulated shoulders on a nice ratchet. They go in and out. Upper bicep, single jointed elbow, wrist swivel, and wrists can go in and out due to transformation. Waist, hips, they go in and out, forward and back. Single jointed knees, double jointed knees if you have no other bot in the frame. Speaking of other bots in the frame, here is Air Raid. And to combine him, what we're going to do is we're going to flip those around, flip those fins in, flip that out, bring that down like we're going to be putting him in bot mode, flip that head in, and bring that nose cone down. And then we're going to fold those wings back like so, and then just take that leg. Those pegs are going to peg in right there. And as you push him in, those doors will fill out the shin. And there is Superion with at least one leg and one arm. But what if he wanted to have two arms and wanted to team up with a compatible Decepticon? Well, luckily, one of the other Scramble City style combiner figures have been recently released. So here's Vortex. Vortex also combines kind of like Drag Strip and Dead End and Slingshot and Fireflight will, and will peg on because his is similar to the connections that are on Silverbolt here. So we're going to take the arm right here, we're going to take our Vortex right here, we're going to peg him on all the way, make sure you push him down all the way, get all those pegs in there where they're supposed to be. We're going to go ahead and close those rotors because it's easier. Give that a good pull, and tab those arm sections into place. We're going to go ahead and spin these out again. And there is Superion with a helicopter arm. And I think that looks absolutely awesome with the helicopter arm. And as cool as Vortex turned out, I really can't wait to see how the rest of the Combaticons look when they're out. And for comparison, here is Superion next to Superion. And I don't know where the critique of the new combiners being smaller than the older combiners came from, but that is very not true if you look at them side by side, especially with their base offering accessories, not accounting for third-party upgrade kits that have enhanced the size and feet and hands of the Combiner Wars combiners. Them as they are, retail to retail, the new one is bigger than the old one. And since we don't have a full Superion, here is Superion in just the frame with Menasor in just the frame. And just like in robot mode, their combiner modes also complement each other very, very well. This set was well worth the wait, especially after the success of this set right here. And seeing them side by side, even unfinished, I am that much more excited for the Combaticons to come out and any other combiner that Hasbro has plans to upgrade at this point. Overall, I gotta say, this take on Superion and Silverbolt is my favorite. Hasbro absolutely nailed it, and no. Overall, this has got to be my favorite take on Superion. Overall, this has got to be my favorite take on Silverbolt and Superion so far. What did you guys think? Do you like the exoskeleton frame build system that they've been doing since Legacy? Or do you prefer the more traditional Scramble City style like we got with Combiner Wars? Let me know in the comments down below. Stay tuned for more cool toy reviews and Transformer toy reviews by liking and subscribing and following Cool Toy Review anywhere you can find us on social media. And of course, you can check the main website, cooltoyreview.com daily for daily cool toy reviews, news, and more. And you can follow me at Triptychonus on Instagram and TikTok for more Transformers fan content, Roger content, and Star Wars fan content. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you another time. Transform and roll out. Thank you.